Hello, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about what is the function classification based on the return data type. Based on the return data type. If you remember, we have declared a function like mentioning the return data type, function name, and the parameter list. So, based on the return data type, we can define the function as two types, what are called void functions and non-void functions. So void functions are that is not return any value, and a non-void function that returns a value. So for example, if I say void, I say some name fun, and I give some parameters or no parameters, leave it, but our attention is on this. So by looking at this function, you clearly say that it is a void function. This does not return any value. Now look at non-void function. Supposing I write int square and some parameters. So by looking at this function declaration, you clearly identify that it is a non-void function. It is returning a value, and the name of the function is square and some parameters. So by looking at the function declaration itself, you will be able to define like this. Then another classification is based on the parameter list. So functions can be classified based on the parameters also. So functions accept parameters. For example, I write some function name, I say fun, and I write here into some x to give you an example. So my attention is now on parameters, not on the return data type. So on the parameters. So now I have written this void fun and I said int x. However, this giving the name of the variable is an optional. Our attention is on parameters. So this is a function which is accepting a parameter. Now you look at another one, say void some fun and no parameters here. I am not sending any parameter. So when I am not sending any parameter, I can write void. So based on the parameters, you can classify them into two categories, and based on the with the return data type, you can classify them into two categories. So in total, we can classify them into four different categories based on the return data type and also the parameter passing. You say void functions accepting known parameters, void functions accepting parameters. So void functions. So I can say void function and I say accepting no parameters. I say fun, the name of the function is fun, and I write void. So you can classify this as a function. It's not returning any value and not accepting any value. Usually functions of this type are only for doing a particular purpose which has no communication with the calling function. And void functions accepting parameters. I can write void, I can write some, and I am passing some two parameters, one or two or any number of parameters. So by looking at the function declaration itself, you can say that it is a void function and the name of it is sum accepting two parameters. Then considering The other two categories, say the non-void functions with no parameters. So I can say here int non-void, I can say get value, and no parameters. To say no parameters, I can write like this. So by looking at the function declaration or function signature, you will be able to say that it is a non-void function and not accepting any value. Now another non-void function, I can write some int, I can write some square, function name is square, and I can pass one parameter. So you say the return data type is int and the name of the function is square and it is accepting parameters. So on the whole, based on the return data type and also the parameters you are sending, you can classify them into 4 categories. As I said, one is void functions, non-void functions. Void functions which are accepting the void functions accepting a parameter, does not accept any parameters, right? And void functions accepting the parameters. Thank you.